It's 2026, and apparently Gangnam Style was 14 years ago. What the f?
Hey Tablo.
All right. Give me like 10 seconds, okay? I just need to.
You can do this! You piece of
How was it? Seriously. Oh my God. Why am I nervous doing this? I've done this before. I'm talking all the time. I have no idea why this is making me nervous. Okay, anyways, Happy New Year. It's 2026, believe it or not. Time passes pretty fast. It feels like yesterday that Haru was 6. She's going to be 16 soon in May. My daughter, I have a daughter, first of all, which is still mind-boggling. And that daughter is going to celebrate her sweet 16 this year. That is, I don't know if I could do this. This truth has hit me hard. She's going to be 16. It's only a matter of time until she's like, get away from me, Daddy. Daddy, you're standing too close. Daddy, your voice is too loud. You're talking way too much. I can't believe it. 2026. To people like me, born in the 80s, 2026 feels like one of those Back to the Future sci-fi dates. It still feels like a time where like cars are flying and we're on hoverboards. 2026 is unreal to people like me. To people that are, my daughter's age, it just feels like another year. Oh, it's just 2026, not a big deal. But to me, 2026 is like a sci-fi number. It's not real. And that's the year we're in. That is just crazy. Anyway, this is Hey Tablo, the new podcast from me, Tablo of Epik High. You may know me already. I'm assuming some of you do. You may be a fan of Epik High's YouTube show, which is Epikaze. You may be a fan of my music, Epik High, and my solo music. Or you may have been a fan of my previous podcast, which was 5 years ago. It's already been 5 years. Anyways, I started this podcast not because I have nothing to do or I need a reason to get out of the house. I started this because I feel like a lot of our English-speaking fans need something like this. And they've been asking it for a long time. Tablo, can you do a podcast again? And finally, I got around to it. I'm hoping that this podcast can be like an Asian dad that you need. I have a theory that regardless of where you're from, what age you are, where you are in life, everyone needs an Asian dad. Only one that doesn't scream at you or compare you to neighbors, kids, or tell you long stories about how they had to like climb mountains to get to school. And kids these days are too fragile and then slap you across the head because you are the only child that has ever been bad at math in this house. Weirdly specific, but anyways, I feel like this podcast can become that kind of Asian dad. You can come to me once a week, every week, to just let your mind get off all of your worries and troubles. And at the same time, get some no bullshit advice and sometimes feel like someone's just listening to you. I want this to feel like a conversation that I have with you and that you have with me. once a week. And hopefully it helps you get through that week. As I mentioned at the beginning, Gangnam Style is 14 years old. It was 14 years ago when that whole sensation happened. Can you believe that? I feel like it was like at the most maybe 7 years ago, but now it's been 14 years. That's just crazy. Do you all remember, you listening right now, do you remember where you were when Gangnam Style dropped? When that video went viral as hell? I remember because I was sitting next to Psy. I was sitting next to the guy who made Gangnam Style. And let me just say, he was just as shocked as anyone else when that song blew up the way it did. He was beyond shocked because he was hoping for a number one song on Korean charts because he hadn't had a number one in a while, right? And he was very nervous, which was interesting for me to see because he's a 선배 of mine. He's an older artist, one that I looked up to, and was always a hit maker. So it was strange seeing him nervous. I was like, that should be doable for you. Like, but when it outdid that by like 10,000 fold, was like number 2 on Billboard, he was more shocked. So I remember this moment because I was there, but it still feels like it was like maybe 7 to 8 years ago. But it's been 14 fucking years. That's, oh my God. So my daughter was like 1 at the time. That is crazy. You know what the importance of Gangnam Style truly was? It's not that, personally for him, it was a great hit. It was a big success and shaped his career after that, right? So it was a great thing to happen. But for people who just watched this happen, especially from Korea, I believe that it was a reminder that unexpected, strange things still can happen. It's sort of like 2002 World Cup. I don't know if any of you will remember. I'm assuming a lot of you weren't even born then. But in 2002, at the World Cup, Korea, beyond all anyone's expectations, just dominated. And we got to the Final Four. At a certain point, it almost felt like we were going to actually win this thing. Like we were going to be holding the World Cup in our hands. And it was an insane time because not only because people were happy or excited, but because behind that happiness and excitement, there was this feeling of, wow, totally unexpected, strange things can happen in life. And maybe it can happen in my life too. And I believe that was the importance of Gangnam Style. It reminded us that sometimes totally unexpected things can happen to people that are underestimated. And these are just 2 examples, but when we go through life, sometimes just weird things happen, right? Where it's like, oh my God, that's crazy. And I believe these moments are very important. Just to remind us from time to time that you can have wild dreams. You can have wild aspirations. Most of them won't materialize, but once in a blue moon, something will. Okay, that got me thinking. What else is hella old now? Let me search this. Hold on. Tell me a bunch of things that are old or happened long ago that will make me feel old. Okay, let's see. Oh, you're in for a nostalgia punch. Here's a list of things that will absolutely make you realize how far we've come. The first iPhone came out nearly 20 years ago, 2007. That's 19 years ago. I remember the very first time I saw an iPhone. I was in Tokyo, and we were looking for a Chrome Hearts store. By we, I mean this one guy in my group, Two Cuts. He was like, "I want to go to Chrome Hearts," and we were looking for the store. And back in those days, we had these phones that basically, were texting devices, right? And you could access the internet, but it was through such a small screen and such a crappy UI that no one really used it. It was just there. It was just a possibility that no one tapped into. And we're like, how do we find this place? And then this friend of ours that was with us, he busts out this metallic device and he's like, let me check. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? What is that thing you're holding? And he's like, this is the iPhone. They called it the Jesus phone at the time because it was like the savior of phones, apparently, the messiah of phones. So he was like, it's the iPhone. And he said it in that voice too. He wasn't like, oh, it's the new iPhone. He was like, it's the iPhone. And I was like, oh my God. He opens up an app and it was like a game. It was a toilet paper game. You all remember this, right? You remember this? You listening right now, you remember this? If you were born then, you know this toilet paper game. The whole point of the game was you just keep tapping down and it's just infinite scroll of toilet paper. I don't know why we loved it so much, but he showed me that and he's like, see, you can do this. You can make phone calls with this. And I was like, I was like, oh my. I was like, so what you're telling me here, it's an iPod that I can call home with? And he's like, yes. And I was like, take my money. I was like, when's it coming out in Korea? And once the iPhone was in my hands the next year, it's never left my hand. And at times, I wish I never discovered it. I wish that it was never made, because I remember a time before smartphones, and we actually met people and sat in the park and stuff, on a bench. We talked. We held hands. We hugged. We had kids and stuff. And then the iPhone came out 19 years ago and everything changed. Anyways, I can't believe that it's 19 years. It feels like maybe 13, 14 years. Almost 20 years is crazy. That is just insane. I was a big fan of Steve Jobs, though. A lot of people are probably like, oh, Tablo, what the fuck? I know all the stories, but, people are complicated. I don't have to like or admire 100% of a person, right? There are parts of everyone's life that I admire and certain parts that I don't, but you can't really pick and choose. You just take the good with the bad. Anyways, I was a huge fan of Steve Jobs. It feels crazy. Wait, when did Steve Jobs pass away? I remember it was when the iPhone 4S or 5S came out. iPhone 4S, because people said that the 4S was iPhone for Steve. It was right after Steve Jobs passed away. He passed away in 2011, so that's wow, that's 15 years ago. Oh, he passed away when the original iPad was only a year old. iPhone still had home buttons? Wait, what? Oh my God. iPhones had home buttons. Clickable, right? It made a sound and everything, right? No, the fingerprint thing came after. At first, I think it was a literal button. I don't know why ChatGPT is saying this, but and Call Me Maybe hadn't even come out yet. Can you believe this? I asked, when did Steve Jobs pass away? And he's like, Steve Jobs passed away on October 5th, 2011. That's almost 15 years ago now. To put that into perspective, the original iPad was only a year old. iPhone still had home buttons. And Call Me Maybe hadn't even come out yet. What the fuck? Okay. I guess you were a fan. Speaking of songs that came out a long time ago, if you're a K-pop fan, this is gonna hit you hard. Big Bang's first big hit, the song 거짓말, Lie, was also 19 years ago. That is crazy. 19 years ago. I didn't even know Big Bang was 19. Big Bang still feels like a group that came out maybe at the most 10 years ago. Because they're still so fresh, right? So when did Bang 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 come out? Hold on. When did Big Bang's Bang 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 come out? Because kids still listen to this like it's a new song that just dropped like a month ago. And it sounds that way, right? It sounds super fresh. It came out 11 years ago. Oh my God. I am old as fuck. Wow, that's crazy. And also, Born Hater was 12 years ago, our song.
I think this is the one that boggles my mind.
Born Hater?
Because the music video was...
Seems pretty new.
Yeah, still relevant.
Yeah.
With the whole vertical thing.
By the way, that Born Hater video, Epik High's Born Hater video, was the first time that vertical videos were abled on YouTube. I know this because when we were shooting the video and the director and I had decided on doing a vertical video, our biggest issue was that we didn't know how people would watch on their computers. So we even had a display on set and we flipped the screen on its side, right, to watch the monitor. And also, that's how we assumed people would watch. I'm not kidding. This is how dumb we were. We were like, okay, people, maybe they can just take their laptop and just put it on the side and they can watch it in full screen. And we were like, but that's ridiculous. Hopefully YouTube will implement vertical videos. What's interesting is even on a phone through the YouTube app, you couldn't see vertical videos in vertical. It just played it in landscape with the black on the sides. And then soon after the video came out, at first it wasn't possible, but soon after it came out, YouTube implemented it, and there was like an article about how Born Hater played a part, and the rest is history. So if you guys enjoy vertical videos, if you enjoy YouTube Shorts, or any vertical videos, TikTok, Instagram Reels, you have me to thank. Me and the Born Hater director. I feel like I should get something for this. Like, YouTube, come on. I deserve a little something for this. Let's see what else happened a long time ago. TikTok launched a decade ago. Do you remember Vine? Oh, you're like, oh, you were a Vine fan? Vine was basically TikTok. It created like a new form of meme. And I loved it. That was 9 years ago, since it's shut down. Let's see what else. Do you remember the Damn Daniel? Damn Daniel, the meme? That meme is 10 years old. Damn. Shit, I'm Daniel. Damn, Daniel. Damn, Daniel's 10 years old. Damn. You know when memes are straight up older than some humans? You know you're old. Like, you know when the memes that you used to love are older than like some elementary school kids? You're old as hell. The ice bucket challenge was 12 years ago. I remember doing this. It's on a rooftop, but that was 11 years ago. Wow. That also feels maybe like 5, 6 years ago. Time passes so fast. Frozen, Let It Go, came out 12 years ago. Frozen 1, it's 12 years ago. Holy shit. No, it's more than 12 years ago. It's 2013, so 13 years ago. The Avengers assembled for the first time in 2012, so that's 14 years ago. Game of Thrones ended in 2019, so that's 7 years ago.
What? Wait, 2019 was 7 years ago?
Okay. This is the funniest moment. Yes, Grace. She's like, wait a minute. After all this discussion, she wasn't as shocked that the iPhone's 19 years old, or that Frozen was 12 years ago, or that Damn Daniel was 10 years ago. She's like, wait a minute. She's like, stop the presses. 2019 was 7 years ago. Yes, Grace. That's how math works. If it's 2026 now, 2019 was 7 years ago. Wow, that is crazy. Despacito was in 2017. So that's 9 years ago. You're listening to this right now and either thinking that, oh my God, that was 10 years ago, that was 14 years ago, or you're thinking, that's it? That feels like, I don't know. Honestly, I thought that was like 30 years ago. If you're the latter, then you're just super old. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But if you're not shocked by any of this, if none of this is blowing your mind, and you're like, well, that sounds about right. Well, that was only 19 years ago. Feels like it was 34 years ago. Then you're really fucking old. And I gotta say, I'm like right there. I'm at the cut line, right? I'm like almost there now. Hold on, let me take a sip of this unbranded, unnamed coffee from this unbranded mug. Just letting all the coffee companies out there know. This could be. I'm sorry. What the hell was that sound? Uh, that came from my body. I'm sorry. Okay. I really said. Did the mic pick that up? Sorry. That's the sound you make. Your body makes when you hit a certain age. You young people don't know. You listening right now, you're too young to know. This this is the sound your body makes at a certain age. Anyways, this coffee could be yours. Your coffee. It could be your coffee in this mug. And it could be your company's logo on this mug. This is the first episode, so we don't have any sponsors. We don't have any ads yet because we have to get the numbers first, and then we can afford to keep doing this. So please share this episode with your friends. Avengers Endgame was 7 years ago. It's already been 7 years since Tony Stark snapped away Thanos and also the entire Marvel franchise. Oh God, I really hope the next they're making a new Avengers right now. You know, Doomsday with Robert Downey Jr. playing Doctor Doom. So it's like the multiverse thing again. Anyways, I guess they realized in the last 7 years that maybe they do need to keep Robert Downey Jr. on screen, right? I gotta say it's probably a huge risk him taking this role because like we all have such fond memories of Tony Stark, that character. He played it so well, and it became something just beyond a character. It became like this huge pop culture moment, right? And him being back in the MCU, it can go really bad. I'm just hoping that it's really good because they also brought back the directors from Endgame and Infinity War, the Russo brothers. They were responsible for all the really good MCU movies like Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame. So hopefully it'll be good. Okay, this is gonna blow your mind. This can't be real. Hold on. Oh shit, it is real. Hold on. No, this can't be real. No. I have to search this again. This can't be real. Oh my God. The first Harry Potter movie, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, not even the book, the movie, is a quarter century ago, 25 years ago. Okay, this went from being fun to depressing. You know, I don't like when people do this. If it's 25 years, just say 25 years. Don't say, oh, it's a quarter century ago. What the fuck is that supposed to mean? Why are we using these measurements? Why would you say a quarter century ago? Just say 25 years. Why are you trying to make us feel bad? Oh my God, in 5 years, I'm going to be half a century old. You know, one of the things that drives me crazy, you know how in Korea, if you're like 43, they say 내일 모레 50이네, which means 2 days from now, like the day after tomorrow, you're gonna be 50. And they start this shit the minute you hit 41. I swear everyone does it. Even my fans do it. And I'm like, that's 9 years later. How can you say the day after tomorrow you're gonna be 50? Even now, I heard it all last year because our YouTube show, we're very childish at times. People will leave comments like, can you believe these guys will be 50 the day after tomorrow? No. The day after tomorrow, I'm going to be 2 days older than I am now. I still have 5 years until I hit 50. That's like saying, oh, and the day after that, they're going to be 100. They're going to be dead. Please just say 25 years. Don't say quarter century ago. And it's just Destiny's Child's Independent Woman came out more than a quarter century ago. Can we agree to not use this century thing? It's already been 5 years since COVID ended. I feel like the age of memes and algorithms and just social media makes everything seem like it was yesterday. And it also makes things that happened yesterday feel like they didn't happen at all. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's great that things that happened like 10, 20 years ago feel fresh, right? From a creator's perspective, as a person who creates content or creates music, it's great that I have certain songs that I wrote like 15 years ago that people still love, like it came out yesterday. That's great. But at the same time, that also means that things we should remember, like we should not forget, are forgotten within days. And that's how I feel like when I think about that. Yes, Avengers seems fresh. Frozen seems like it was yesterday because we keep seeing the same memes. But at the same time, things we shouldn't forget, we forget pretty fast as well. When did social media come out? When did... Sorry, I should take off this bracelet. This bracelet must be annoying everyone. Hold on, let me take it off. Okay. When did Facebook come out? Facebook launched February 4th, 2004. 22 years ago. Okay. Wow, that's actually a long time. But at the time, not everyone used Facebook, right? Like it was a very local thing. Like I'm sure you've seen the movie Social Network. It started as a Harvard thing and then expanded to like Stanford to other colleges. So at the time, it was still pretty local. Let's see what AI thinks is the starting date of social media, which is ironic because social media basically created this motherfucker. When did social media start, in your opinion? Great question. It depends on how you define social media. I know, just answer the question. Okay. The Big Bang of social media, 2003 to 2008. Okay, so roughly the same time. The mobile and algorithmic age, 2009. So let's say that we've had social media for like 20 years, right? Most people listening, most of your life has been within the social media age. For example, my daughter never lived in another time, right? But for people like me who are super old, who are going to be 100 2 days from now, for us, we remember a good half of our lives without social media or even the internet. So when I look back, to be honest, I can't even. It doesn't even feel real anymore, which is crazy. Because back in those days, if somebody came up to me when I was a kid and was like, at some point, they're going to create this thing and you're going to be able to hold it in your hand. And any opinion or thought you have, no matter how shitty, you can post it and everyone can see it. I'll be like, okay, okay, that doesn't sound real at all. But now, when I look back, I'm like, the time before all of that seems unreal. Like in those days, like if you had an opinion, maybe two of your friends knew, right? You know what I mean? Like if you were really bad at expressing your thought or whatever thought you have or opinion you have, and it's something you just shouldn't say, right? Because you haven't worked it out in your mind, and or you're very bad at articulating your thoughts. Maybe like one person other than yourself knew that. So they couldn't cancel you, right? It's just one person that knows that you're terrible at expressing your thoughts. Maybe that seems like nature intended. And what I mean by that is I don't think humans were created to care or even know what's happening everywhere at the same time. I don't know if we are biologically capable of having ubiquitous thought. You know, that's supposed to be like in the realm of like the divine or like a supreme being maybe, but I'm not sure that humans are supposed to know this much stuff. I think we're supposed to just know what's going on in our families, our neighborhoods, at the most, maybe our city. And we're not supposed to know that some dude named Daniel in a whole other continent wore some shoes and someone was like, damn, Daniel. Does that make sense? I don't think that's what was intended by nature. Like, obviously, right? We weren't born with these devices like attached to our hands. So when I look back at those times, now that seems unreal. Am I making sense? Because if what I just said makes no sense, and if you're listening right now and you disagree with me, that's because we're living in this age where I have a mic in front of me and my thoughts are being projected to like tons of people. Back in those days, when I was a kid, maybe one friend, okay, my friend Hansun, would know that I have these thoughts. So even if I make no sense, I'm only confusing one person. I only have one person disagreeing with me. That's my point. Yeah, that's crazy. YouTube was 21 years ago. YouTube was born. When was the first the YouTube zoo video, right? Video. The YouTube zoo video, which was the first YouTube video, was me at the zoo. It was 2005. So it was 21 years ago. Have you seen that video of the YouTube founders in this small ass room, like completely miserable because they weren't getting traction? So it's them sitting in this really shitty office space. It looks like a supply room, but they're sitting there and they're down in the dumps because no one's watching YouTube. Also, no one's using YouTube. There aren't enough videos on YouTube. So they're like debating what they can do, but they still have like this sense of humor. A lot of people watch this video as like inspiration because they're like, everyone starts somewhere. Even YouTube had these worries at the beginning. But what I noticed was that even though they may be facing certain failure, they're humorous about it. Like they're laughing. And I watched that and I was like, that is the spirit of YouTube. That is probably why they made it. Why YouTube became what it became is because they were able to laugh and like have a sense of humor about it. But anyways, that was like 21 years ago. Damn, that's crazy. Time passes so fast. That is crazy. You know what's crazy? One day it's going to be 2036 and we're going to be talking about the Hey Tablo podcast came out 10 years ago. Oh my God. I hope we're still like speaking to each other and stuff 10 years from now. I don't mean you guys, but I hope it's not like the future depicted in Terminator, like Skynet or the Matrix. Machines have taken over. Oh, knock on wood. What else? Pokemon Go came out 10 years ago. Hold on. Why does Pokemon Go feel like it was 5 years ago? It's 10 years ago? I still have my account. Did you guys play? Do you remember what level you got to? Let me check mine. If you're driving right now, please don't check what level you were on Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go. I went into this app for the first time in like years, and it's popping up like all these items I got. Daily adventure egg. Hold on. I'm just trying to check my level. Hold on. Oh, I got to level 52. Is that high? Oh, this was 10 years ago? That's crazy. All of these things are a reminder that time really does fly. It just flies by. You know, I planned today's episode to be like a fun intro to 2026, like a fun start to 2026. But holy shit, all of this really has me thinking. We need to make better use of our time. Time seriously does just fly by. You know how as you get older, time feels like it's going faster? Like a year seems way faster than it did when we were kids. Like when we were kids, summer break really felt like a break. It felt almost infinite in possibility. Like when school was out and you had summer break, in your mind, you had enough time to build a tree house, to discover areas of your town that you never knew were there. You had enough time to learn various different things, to hang out with your friends, to spend, countless nights just on the phone, to read comics, to do your summer homework, everything, right? Like it felt like it was not just an ample amount of time, but like an infinite amount of time. And summer break really felt like summer break. But these days, because I have a daughter, like when she goes on summer break, it might feel like enough time to her, but as I'm watching, I'm like, oh my God, school starts again in a week. Her summer break is already over. And they say it's almost scientific that time feels faster as you get older. And I always assumed that it was because our memory gets bad because you have less things to remember. Like let's say memories are like dots, and because you have less dots between 2025 and 2026, or between 2010 and now, you have less memorable moments. If you only have like 3 dots between the last year, then in your mind, it'll seem shorter in retrospect than when you were a kid and you have so many memorable moments, because everything is new, right? The first time you tried mint chocolate ice cream, the first time you had Hawaiian pizza. Weird choices, I know, but I love them. Everything was new and fresh. So they're like huge dots. So the more dots you have, the longer it feels. And apparently that's sort of pseudoscientific, that as you get older, you have less memorable moments because most of it is routine and there's no sense of marvel or sense of awe anymore when you do things because you've probably already done them. And the problem is, this is a new worry that I have, not for myself, but for people in general, is that the age of social media, so ever since social media happened, we feel like we've experienced things that we haven't. So not only are we, as we get older, are we going into a routine and losing our sense of awe at experiencing things for the first time. Now we live in an age where we're exposed to so much information and so many videos and so many experiences of others that even when we do experience something for the first time, it doesn't register as the first time. Like we've seen it somewhere, you know? If I ever go somewhere and I see a bunch of capybaras in a hot spring, like capybaras in a onsen, like in a hot spring, that should feel like a huge dot. That should feel like an amazing sight to see. The problem is I just watched like 3 hours of videos and shorts about capybaras flocked together in a hot spring in Japan. There's apparently a zoo in Japan where they do this. A bunch of capybaras are in a hot spring together, and it's like the cutest thing. And I saw one video because like Haru was like, "Dad, let's search capybaras in hot springs." And we did, and we watched every video. So now if I go to the zoo, if I actually go to the zoo, or better yet, if I'm like just walking through some forest and then there's a natural hot spring, and for some reason there's a shit ton of capybaras inside the spring just chilling. That should shock and amaze me, and there should be an explosion of awe when I see this. Like, oh my God, this is not only cute, but this is amazing. Like this, like this, this. This amount of natural beauty shouldn't even be possible, and it's happening right in front of my eyes. I won't have this awe anymore, or I'll have less of the awe. It'll be cushioned because I've seen so many videos online, right? And I know this is a hilarious example, but what I'm trying to say is because we're living in an age where we vicariously experience everything before we actually experience it, our sense of awe, our dopamine, has already been drained, and that will shorten the dots. That will minimize the dots, or just when every memory becomes disposable, we'll just have less dots to look back on. And for that reason, I feel like even if you're not as old as I am, even if you're in your teens or like in your early 20s, I feel like a lot of people feel like time is passing faster now. Before phones, before social media, I think when you were young, you really did feel like a month was a month. And only old people like me felt like time was passing faster. But now I feel like everyone experiences time passing faster. I know this because I talked to my daughter about what episode I'm doing today. And because she asked me, she's like, Dad, what are you going to do for your first episode? And I was like, oh, did you know Gangnam Style was 14 years ago? And she was like, really? It was 14 years ago? And I'm like, bro, you've been alive for 15 years. You've, you've only been alive for a year longer than Gangnam Style. But even she feels like time is passing fast. And I think it's because of our phones and social media. I believe there is only maybe like two things that I have no problem having people binge on their phones. I believe we should be on our phones less, but I believe there are two things that are okay to binge on. First, Epik High, or Epik High's YouTube channel. That's okay. And also this podcast. I know it's very selfish of me to say this, but we will work to not just provide a dopamine hit, but also, hit a chord in your heart. We will try our best to teach you something, at least, to leave you with at least one medium-sized dot in your mind. Right? We will try to do everything possible to heighten the sense of awe as we live this life. Like I will try. So I'm not gonna say get off your phones because I depend on I depend on your phone to get to you. So I won't say that, but yeah, let's be mindful of these dots that we're creating. 2026 is a fresh start. We got a new year to create some dots together, and hopefully we can create some good ones. We can create some big ones so that when it's 2027 and we look back, we can say, hey, you know what? For the first time, the last year, the last 365 days feels kind of like it was 365 days. I have this memory. I have this big dot here, this medium-sized dot here, this small dot here. Hopefully we can do that together. Please share this video with everyone you know if you're watching on YouTube, which I would like you to do. You might be using Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all great platforms, but if you can, watch the video, the full video on YouTube, and share it with your friends. Also, subscribe on all the platforms that I just mentioned. And I believe that if you rate and review and give me like full stars and just praise this podcast, it helps feed all of my staff and pay for this mic and these cameras and also this laptop that we have here. We need these things. So please rate and review. And also, if you have like submissions, like if you want to tell me something or ask me something, or if you have ideas for episodes, you can just comment in the video, in the comment section. Also, you can follow me at Blow by Blow, BLOBYBLO on Instagram. A lot of people don't know that this is Blow by Blow. A lot of people think that my handle on Instagram is Blowby Blow. And they're just shocked. They're mind blown that it's Blow by Blow. Like the Blow by Blow. Can I get the Blow by Blow? So it was a play on that because my name's Tablo, right? So I was like Blow by Blow, but everyone calls it Blowby Blow, Blobby Blow, or something like that. Anyways, I'll see you next week on Hey Tablo. Bye bye.
Hey Tablo.